You're listening to Between the Lines with Rob Reynolds, brought to you by R. Reynolds and Associates, your leader for insurance, health, and life. We have a plan just for you. Call 636-734-8444. And by the St. Louis Crisis Nursery, taking care of your kids for the last 50 years. And now, Between the Lines. Good afternoon and Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I look at my little Advent calendar here and it says 18. That means 1 week left until Christmas Day. It also means that I opened it up and there was a chocolate in there. So it's been a good day so far. What I wanted to talk to you about today was about moms. Moms kind of run the show. Dads just kind of hang around, but moms run the show. At least they did at my house. No doubt about it. Now, my mom was the judge, jury, and executioner of any event that might happen in our little lives. And that Electra 225 and Olds Cutlass was the courtroom, also the jury box and the execution room. So it had it all right there in one place. But what I wanted to do is talk to you about some things that I look back on and I think, well, that was odd that she said that. And maybe that happened with you too, and maybe it'll put a little smile on your face. My mom was the master of the backhand. Now, if you said something smart, she wasn't going to get in a big deal about it. You just have a backhand. And she was quick. She was quick on that backhand. You would hardly have the smart aleck statement out of your mouth before you were holding your mouth saying, "What in the world happened?" So there was no doubt who was in charge. But I look back on some of the things she said, and she would say, like, "If you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about." Hmm, that's interesting. Or she would say, "If you fall off that bike and break your arm, I'm going to whip your butt." That's interesting. Well, I remember one time that I had come up to the house or something. She always did hair and she did it at home. And one of her customers there, for some reason, I was running in and out into the garage. And I put my hand through the glass door there. And it was bleeding. And I ran in and showed her. She says, "Oh, golly, we better take you to the emergency room." So she took me down to the emergency room and had like a band-aid around my hand, a rag. And I got up there close to the door and I said, "Oh, I think I'm going to pass out." And she looked at me and she said, "If you do, I'll whip your butt." Well, I didn't pass out. I knew no way that was going to happen. So moms, they always had control of things. But my mom always had my back. I think I could run out of a bank with a bag of money and she would say, "Well, it wasn't him. That wasn't him." But when I got in that electric, there'd be some butt whipping going on, let me tell you. Well, let me tell you about one incident that happened that it's unbelievable, but it was very, very vivid in my mind. As a kid, I took piano lessons. And every once in a while, you would have a recital. In fact, I think you had one about every year in the spring. And the lady that gave me piano lessons, she's gone now, but she had been giving lessons for about 400 years when I was doing the piano lessons. So she was certainly up on her trade. She knew what to do. And she'd have these recitals. And of course, recitals were totally by memory. And she would sit on the front row and she had everybody's music there just in case something went wrong, like bad wrong, like, you didn't know what you were going to do. But I remember going up there and sitting down and had my little suit on, little tie. I looked good, I have to tell you. And I started playing and I just went totally blank. I didn't have an idea what I was playing. I didn't know if I was playing Claire de Lune or chopsticks. I mean, I just was totally blank. So I thought, now, you know what? One thing is you got to be pretty adaptable when you're at these recitals. So I just started playing whatever I thought I needed to play. I'd play scales, I'd play chords, I'd play chops. I played everything that I thought I ought to play for about 3 minutes. I looked down there and she was just gasping, trying to find a Kleenex. But and she just got more beside herself and more beside herself. Well, I finished my little ditty, got up, took a bow, and then I went down and sat down. Well, everybody clapped, said, "Oh, Robbie, I'm so pretty." Well, we got to the end of the recital. They always have a little reception there where you'd have reception. You'd have punch and cookies, and everybody that was in the recital was in a line. And the people would come through and they would say, "Oh, that was so good. I did that when I was 6. And oh, that was great." And they came by and they say, "Oh, Robbie, you're just getting to be so big. You just did a great job." And I was nodding my head, saying thank you. And my mom was, "Oh, thank you so much." And the teacher was going, "Oh my God." But anyway, we went through the whole thing and had their little glass of red Kool-Aid, got into the car, and here we are. We're in the Electra. We're heading home. And she looked at me and she said, "When we get home, I'm going to whip your butt." Well, I knew exactly what she was going to whip my butt because I may have been playing the unknown, but she knew it wasn't right. And I just took all that praise in because I knew I was going to be in the jury room going home. Let me leave you with one more, and that is talking about moms always being in charge. I mean, because they were. I mean, they ran the show. Well, it was dinner time, and we had pork chops fried. Yes, fried back then. Um, we had mashed potatoes. We may had some gravy, and my mom had made up this handy concoction of squash. Like it was like boiled, but squash. We were all sitting around the table there. We had our pork chops, we had our potatoes, and we each had a little dab of squash on the plate. Well, my sister started eating that squash, and you could tell it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger in her mouth. And she was just, "Oh, I can't take this anymore." So she like spit it out. My mom was on her. I mean, the warden had come to the cell block. She said, "Hey, that ain't gonna work. You're gonna eat that." "Oh, Mom, I don't want to. It doesn't taste very good." "You're eating it." "Yes, I don't want to eat it. I hate it. I don't want." "You are going to eat it. Now eat it." So she tried to choke it down, and I'll be darned. There was hacking and gagging and weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth and all kinds of stuff going on. And she finally got it down with about, it was tough. I mean, it was like tough to get that squash down. And my mom, after seeing that episode go on for about 15 minutes, she looked at me and she says, "Rob, is there anything you want?" And I said, "Well, I don't want any of that squash." Folks, have a great week before Christmas. I hope you get all your shopping done, and I hope you call somebody that might need to hear from you this week. This is a good time to do it. It's a great time of the year, and it's a great time to remember what the real purpose of Christmas is. Well, we've reached the end of the line today on Between the Lines. We'll see you soon online with Between the Lines. So long, everyone.